Hey, welcome back to Gold Scratch. So, leading up to today, we've been talking about taking our 4.7 swap budget build engine to the dyno and dynoing it with a number of different carburetors and air breathers and stuff. And so, uh, unfortunately, this is reality YouTube. Things don't always go perfect at Gold Scratch, and it's been a long time since something like this has happened, but here's our 4.7 swap engine block heading to the machine shop, and that's the crankshaft heading to the machine shop. What the heck happened? So uh, we're going to fess up and give you the whole story here. Not too happy about it. So just to give you a quick history, if you haven't watched, we made multiple videos of this engine. It was a budget build. We used the Promax heads and nice intake manifold. I, I cleaned it up at home, did not take it to a machine shop. I hand honed it. This engine was started and run. The camshaft is a 4.7 swap camshaft. It was started and run on my test stand at home. It ran fine, no issues. It ran more than a half an hour. Customer Paul Phelan then decided he wanted to use Protronics distributor, so we changed that over and made another video of it running with the Protronics distributor. Everything seemed fine. I also use this Moroso screen in the oil filter, and that comes out at the last minute. I do 2 oil changes on the engine before it goes to the dyno. It was absolutely clean. This sits on top of your oil filter, and if there's anything going on in your engine, usually the debris or shrapnel will end up getting trapped here. So it's like kind of cutting your oil filter apart, only a lot easier to do and better. Anyway, we had no indication there was any problem. We actually went to the dyno, had the engine on the dyno, we started up and timed it. It sounded okay. On the next restart, it was cranking hard. It didn't crank over easily. The battery was okay. Started to check it out, and we took the spark plugs out of it, and even with the spark plugs out of it, typically an engine with rotating assembly is about 30 foot-pounds to turn over. If you don't have the valve springs connected, the rocker arms on it, probably 50 or 60 foot-pounds once you're opening against the valve springs, if depending how big your cam is, of course. And this was taken more than that. The engine was tight. So we never made one pull with this engine. We realized something was wrong, and rather than take a chance of doing more damage, we aborted the whole day. Unfortunately, had a whole group of people there ready to make these videos, and we will do that again. So brought it back to the shop. Before it was cooled off, I had it totally disassembled and found out that what happened was I'll show it to you as a little show and tell here. And while we're over here, there's all the parts. From here on in is Tony's 302 engine. This is all the pistons and everything out of the budget build, 4-bolt main caps and stuff. And here's the problem. This is why the engine was tight to turn. That's the thrust bearing surface, and it's not looking very healthy. There's 4 or 5 thousandths of an inch off of it, and it had got hot. So how did that happen? So the thrust clearance, minimum thrust clearance on a small block is 3 thousandths of an inch. I think it ranges 3 to 8 or 3 to 11 anyway. The minimum is 3 thousandths. And when I assembled this engine, it was right on 3 thousandths. And it's in spec, so I decided to let it go. Now, the answer is, if it's not on spec, you got to take the bearing out, and you get a flat plate with some fine sandpaper, and you rub it back and forth, unless you have a lathe or something to do it on. And you take a couple thousandths off this surface of the bearing to give you more thrust clearance. So it was in spec, so I decided to let it go, and I got caught. And it looks like it should have been okay. Maybe a little bit of dirt or something got in there and started to heat it up, and that's what made the engine turn tight. Now, fortunately, we never did make a pull We started it, just set timing, and never ran after that. And so we ended up not damaging anything, other than, of course, I already have new main bearings for it. I bought a whole set of main bearings. Only the truss bearing was bad, but we bought a whole set of bearings. But then we got together with the customer, Paul, and he decided he wanted a little more than just a budget build. So we're changing plans altogether. The block's going to Ashton's this morning. We're going to bore it, 30,000 7-inch. We're going to put flat top pistons in it. We're going to deck it, take 25 thousandths off the deck. So instead of being a 9.2 to 1 compression engine, it's going to be 10.2 or 10.3 to 1 compression. By decking it, we can use the standard head gasket and have 44 or 45 thousandths of an inch of quench. So we'll have a nice 10 to 1 engine with good quench, flat top pistons, and we use really good parts. Still got the Promax heads. This is the 4.7 swap cam. It's in good condition. The cam was fine. We never did any damage to anything else in the engine. The bearings are all fine, except the main bearing, of course. So we're good there. So we're going to basically go in a different direction altogether. Now this is Monday. We have another dyno day on Saturday. And hopefully we're going to have Tony's cam in, and it's covered up, but I have his heads on. It's ready to go. If I get Tony's cam almost any time this week, that engine will be on the dyno on Saturday. If not, if we get parts fast enough, we hope to have one of these engines on dyno this Saturday. So that's what's going on. It's not a happy story. I don't really like telling it, but that's reality TV, guys. And I thought, people can learn from your experiences more than anything, and that's how I learned. And I learned a lesson here, even though it was in spec. Retrospectively, I'd have taken that main bearing back out, took 2 or 3 thousandths off of it, and we probably wouldn't be having this discussion right now. So. But we are, and that's what we're dealing with. Atchison's expecting me. I'm going there right now. Get this guy, the machining done, the decking, boring, and all that kind of stuff. Get pistons on the way, and we'll basically build a different kind of an engine. Like this reminded me, please remember to like and subscribe. That's what makes it worth doing all this. And if you give me a like, comments are great. Share any activity on the channel helps, tells YouTube that somebody's interested in my videos, and they'll show it to somebody else, and that's how we grow on YouTube. So hope you found that interesting. We'll have follow-ups along the way, and thanks for watching Gold Scratch.